So hello and welcome to the UCI Cycling Esports World Championships 2025, powered by MyWhoosh. This is the first of our men's qualifiers, the public qualifiers that are the first step on the pathway to take you from qualification right through the semi-finals and into potentially those finals live in Abu Dhabi in November. My name's Matt Payne. I'm here in the studio with Emma Martin once again. And Emma, we've just seen an astounding women's race. And if you haven't seen it, please do go have a watch back. Fantastic new race format, brilliant race action, riders scoring points all over the place, and maybe a little portent of what we're going to see in the men's.
Oh, I hope so, Matt. It's absolutely brilliant to be joining you in the studio today for this race. And you are right. This course, well, the women's race was superb, and I'm expecting the men's first open qualifier to be just as exciting. Now, you're right about this pathway. This pathway is so exciting, and throughout the entirety of August, we've got 4 open public qualifiers, which alongside the National Federation quotas will lead the riders into that semi-finals on October the 3rd. And then the selection being made in that race on the 3rd of October for those finals on November the 15th this year for 2025.
And that live in-person final following on from last year's final in Abu Dhabi, in person with an en masse weigh-in, all the riders in person on their bikes. Some big changes going to be coming up for that, I'm sure. And of course, different change of format, all of which you can catch the details on. You can pick up all of the details. You can get there via the MyWhoosh website. That is www.mywhoosh.com. Make sure you go onto the events. Lots of ways to jump on board and come and join our riders.
Well, yes, come and join indeed, because anybody can join the Open Public Qualifiers. The information is on mywhoosh.com/events, and these riders have been there and they have registered for the event today.
So this is our entry list for qualifying number 1 in the men's. Yunfei Wu, one of our big name riders. I'm hoping he's going to be down on that start line. He can climb like an absolute angel. Fantastic.
Well, and 2 riders from Belgium I've got my eyes on, Ruben Dont and Wouter Claes. Christoph Thiem in the mix as well, I think, too.
Ivan Yuki could be a rider to watch, the Ugandan rider, no selection goes uphill, and the Khan brothers as well from Turkey. Carsten Meyer, very, very strong, but Lionel Vajassin showing that he is on form. Vajassin racing very strongly and peaking at the moment. We'll see if he can go clear from a rider like Mohamed Al-Kaisa, a very, very strong rider, made of tough stuff. And Ricardo Panizza got to be on the hit list of anybody's list of favourites here today.
Well, I agree. Wouter Claes, for me, I'm going to call him out. He's the last rider on the list, and I tell you something, he's the rider for me who always pops his head to the front of the race right at the exact time it's needed.
We will see whether he's going to be at the front for the qualifiers. We are down in qualifier 1 in AlUla. This course, basically exactly the same as the women's course. So if you've seen that, that gives you an indication of where we're headed. And Emma, those checkpoints are all important.
They are. Now, this is a points race. It's a 32.4 kilometre points race, 5 opportunities to score points, 4 checkpoints along the way, 2 climb checkpoints, 2 sprint checkpoints, and of course that finish line checkpoint as well. All the checkpoints, the maximum point score at each individual checkpoint is 40 points. The top 20 riders across the line at those checkpoints score points every single time. So checkpoint 1 comes at 6.1 kilometres. It's the first climb section of the day. Checkpoint 2 at 10.2k. That's a sprint checkpoint, but watch out for a long lead in. Climb 2 is the third checkpoint at 18.4k, then 21.3 kilometres sprint 2, and then our finish checkpoint at 32.4. But watch out for the tactics today. This is a course where those first 2 checkpoints come within the first 10 kilometres, and we could see some very hard racing going out early.
Well, will this race go from the Gun Riders lined up beneath the UCI banner there? The UCI, the governing body of cycle sports worldwide. This, the first of the men's qualifiers here for 2025. The riders lined up on those turbos in their pain case. They're going to be setting out on course. On their avatars will be very shortly. It's time to go racing on the UCI Cycling Esports World Championship for 2025. out from the pen, and this is, in theory, a flat start until we get to the Alpha Hills, but it looks like it's going to be quick with Johan Moreno doing what is for him a trademark start, sprinting away from the start and lining it out as soon as he can. It's a big bunch. They're taking a little bit of a time to get into one long line. It has to be said, right behind him. Interesting to see Vajasim Wu in there, Panizza as well. Looks like Horsey holding the wheels and Cridlin, Dean Cunningham in there, Robert Clendenning, Daniel Churek in there. So being at the front now, not necessarily absolutely vital, but it does mean that you're not going to get caught the wrong side of a gap or the wrong side of a break.
No, and this pack, do you know, it's really interesting. Moreno going off the front, the riders not paying too much attention behind and staying in the group. This is about energy management, this course, because you've got over those 5 point scoring opportunities. Well, what we're going to see is power recovery, power recovery, power recovery. I expect, don't quote me, I could be wrong. You never know. A long range attack could go early and we might see a time trial effort off the front of the group. Who knows? Only those riders on those bikes in their pain caves have their plans in front of them. The rest of us have no idea what those plans are.
And remember, of course, any plan, as that saying goes, rarely survives first engagement with the enemy. The enemy are around him at the moment. Moreno on the front, again pushing here, kicking out over 350 watts to nearly 400 watts here. Holding up at 170 revs at 90, and at the moment, 44 kilometers an hour. He's motoring along here. He's keeping the pace high, and the arm riders being distanced off the back of this group already. If you were behind one of those riders when that gap went, you'd have to work to come around it, which is why everybody wants to stay up at the front. Harris sitting in position. Joshua Harris, very experienced rider there, keeps himself in contention. Lewis with him as well. They're holding a similar position just up at the front. And now Batty, a rider who, when it comes to the climb today, should excel on those steeper sections.
Well, he should indeed, but he's got to get there because this is first across the line, not fastest through the checkpoint. And that is absolutely crucial because the top 20 riders through those checkpoints will score those points. So you've got to be right at the front of the race. You've got to watch your positioning. And this race at the moment is all about positioning. You can see on the top right-hand corner of your screen where the group currently is, and it's already got a tail. So 1, 2, 3, 4 groups I can see already distanced off the front. Selection is already beginning. They're going to come up over a short riser here just to push on before they come into that Alpha Hills section.
So if you weren't watching before, if you're new to MyWhoosh, you're new to cycling esports, each of our riders who are racing out represented by an avatar, a rider on your screen. The screen gives you lots of data, which is what makes cycling esports unique. Top left-hand side of your screen, you can see the distance covered, 2.25k of the 32.4 kilometers covered. Top center, well, that's the race time so far, just over 3 minutes of racing covered. Top right-hand side, the radar view, each of the riders represented by a disc. The multiple groups of discs get piled on top of each other the closer they get to each other. The gradient, well, you can see that is kicking up on the course profile, the red line representing the rise, being intersected by that yellow vertical line, which represents where the riders are at the moment. And the gradient shown currently just over 5%, the first of the Alpha Hills starting to bite in the riders' legs. The riders at the front of the race and their position shown on the right-hand side at the moment being led by Christoph Kroll, who is currently putting out some big watts, well over 600 watts, currently just dropping down a little as they go over the top of that rise, and that's then followed by his watts per kilo, so the power to weight ratio, the heart rate, and then the distance on course.
Well, this first climb checkpoint coming at the 6.1 kilometre marker is a 3.6 kilometre climb with 7 rolling sections. So there is draft, there is momentum, and those two things really important on this as well in terms of staying in that lead group and putting yourself in contention in that top 20. The average gradient just 2.8%, but it really does belie the fact that this is rolling, and each of these rollers kicking to around 8, sometimes 9%. But it's very much a knife edge at the top. top, and you do descend very, very quickly. So Bloom, Lewis, Nair, Vujasin, Panizza and Kroll currently at the front of the pack.
And that knife edge that you're talking about there, that means that the riders, as they go over the top, will pick up speed. If you're at the front of the group, as you go over the top, you'll be into that descent, while some of the group is still ascending at the back. They'll be going slower, you'll be going faster, you'll open the gap. And the same is true as you dive down into the base, you go in and through. We're in with Yonsei Honda at the moment, and you can see Honda at the moment kicking out 445 watts, currently in 45th position at the back of this group. And this a fantastic shot of what it takes. He's gone over the top. He now has to keep motoring to get into that group, try and use that momentum. Currently outside those point scoring positions, and interestingly, still chasing Dean Cunningham and Johan Moreno. They are 4 seconds in front, and they are in that leading group. Honda with the fan blowing. You can see one of his race suits with the number pinned on the back in the background, the towel over the handlebars and out of the saddle, kicking down now. You can see him putting down those big watts, 400 plus watts at the moment as he kicks over the top. He will want to get back into the group. If he's in the group, he's got a chance of scoring points. 20 riders at each checkpoint score points. Those are the key numbers. It's where you need to be, right in the middle of this bunch.
Well, right in the middle of the bunch is the sweet spot at the moment. Bloom, Panizza, Skierski, Yongfeng Wu is in here. Andrew Downey is in here. Zach Nair, Mikhail Kaminsky, Ricardo Panizza, all in this group. And while they are coming towards the end of the section, they have to go over the top of this climb. They'll descend, and then 2 more climbs to go. It's going to be an interesting move. Who goes long? Well, if anybody goes long off the front line of Yasin on our screen at the moment, riding for Croatia in that jersey, pushing on here. Now, a rider who knows this platform inside out. He knows about timing efforts, and he knows how to get things right, and he's going to be absolutely dialing this today.
And he's a rider who we've seen be on form at the moment. He's riding really, really strongly. We saw him racing at the weekend. On Sunday, he was really, really frustrated in that sprint. He wanted to take a podium position. He didn't take that. He's had to pick himself back up again and then go onwards. But if anybody can do it, Lionel Justin, he's such an experienced rider, he's such a smart head. I think that press of the reset button is there for him, and he knows this is where he can go get himself into place. Now, in terms of qualifying, we have 4 qualifying. Public qualifying, which are our 4 public qualifying spots, but we also have nations stating that they can qualify. So at the moment, just switching across to Nathan Guerra down in his pain cave there. You can see the air conditioning unit going as well. The fan is blowing. Nathan, who rides from the United States of America, a bit of a legend at the end of the day. He's been around cycling in esports since its inception.
He's getting stronger and stronger at the moment as well. He's fabulous to see.
And he's racing every weekend. He does say he's racing at the fittest, his fastest, strongest he's raced pretty much ever. So he's going to be in contention today for big points and potentially for the win.
And look how punchy he is, straight up and out of that saddle, and he's coming through with the group here. The banner is coming, and Guerra, Wu, Thiem, Kaminsky, they're not in the top 5 or 6 at the moment, but they're coming through. Skierski, Van Urk, Turek, the push is coming from the front of the group as they all go underneath the banner. It's a huge group. Now, let's just remember the top 20 only pick up points, and I've got Pal Skierski, Rick Van Urk, Josh Harris, Tatu Koinsen, Nathan Guerra, Mikhail Kaminsky, Ricardo Panizza, Dan Turek, Yunfeng Wu, Ruben Dont, Christoph Thiem, Wouter Claes, Dan Morel, Zach Nair, Christoph Kroll, Sanchez Miller, Janade, Fournier, and Cain as the riders who have picked up points, and they are on your screens. Those are the overall standings, and as we go through each of the checkpoints, they will be added to. But that is the result of the very first checkpoint today.
So those are your first 20 riders through. They scored points. They are 20 of 38 riders in the league group who came through together. The last of those 38 riders going through, scoring no points, but in the right position. Now, as they continue to push, it's going to be really, really key to try and stay near the front, because I think this is going to be a pressure point. You've come through. The riders have gone really deep into the red, and a quick counter-attack now could really pay off. Pal Skierski Skiersky is in here. Great
One
to
happy
see,
rider.
pal. He is indeed. Now, Skiersky going through that checkpoint, taking away maximum points, 40 points. He's set that down. He's in the group. He's in, and at the moment, nicely tucked inside the top 10 as we see a move go off the front here. Skiersky not responding to that, and I think that's a smart move. Try and let somebody else do some of the work when you've put in a sprint and you've taken in that win.
I agree. And sitting in the bunch and recovering, Skiersky's a punchy rider and he's a determined rider. But what we've got now is an attack off the front from Yunfei Wu. And I tell you something, this is dangerous. At 7.5 watts per kilo, Wu is now moving. Wu is capable of holding a time trial pace to the finish. He is an absolutely world-class rider. And I expect him, well, I'm going to make a statement early. I expect him to be in the top 20 this year with the form he is currently on, if he can hold it. But Wu, Yasin, Kaminsky and Clays now coming to the front of the group to try and chase this move.
I would say potentially in the top 5 at the end of the day, because that is phenomenal riding all the way through. We've seen this week on week he's improved. He's potentially, for me, second only really to Osborne and Fink, to the current world champion and the former world champion.
Well, do you know, just looking here, we've got Mikhail Kaminsky on the screen, resplendent in the Polish national champion's skin suit. Fabulous to see Kaminsky with us here. He's in this chase group. And what's interesting, Wu went down the road. The group did not move. The group did not chase. And this is an interesting tactic here, because if Wu goes off the front and picks up 40 points all the way through, the front of the group are still going to pick up 38 points. And 36 points. You're not losing many points by letting Wu go down the road. And this is an interesting move because nobody is chasing at the moment, and Wu has over 100 metres.
And what that's given, it basically means that Wu can go off down the road. He potentially will climb those points. It doesn't affect the riders right at the front. Good to see Tomoki Takasaki at the moment. They're really focused on the screen there.
Gulping in the air.
Sucking in the air. And I'm not surprised. This front group are moving fast at the moment. 46 kilometers an hour on the flat here. And at the moment, Takasugi in the draft, you can see that on the right-hand side of your screen, because the draft numbers, the numbers of the watts, they are in green. That means he's in the draft. They will go to black if he goes outside. So at the moment, saving energy, a smart move. For me, Wu going down the road isn't dangerous for the riders who maybe be second, third, fourth, fifth. It's dangerous for the riders who are battling in that 19th, 20th place for points in the bunch, because one of the slots has gone. And now if you were battling for 20th or 21st place, you're potentially battling for 21st, 22nd place. So if you're not at the front of the group and you're not going to be battling, he's taking away those points. The rest of the group now are all dropped down that place.
And there were 38 riders in that group before Wu attacked. And you can see, look at the tail on that group in the distance now as Wu comes up and over this small bridge. And the rest of the riders come into the bridge. But Dont, Vuyasin, now leading the charge behind Clay, Skiersky, Kroll, Kaminsky, all in the mix. They're at around 9 seconds. And that is the gap to the group behind. So Wu is continuing to time trial. He's settled into a rhythm. They're coming towards the 10.2 kilometre marker, which is the next checkpoint. They're at 9.9. They're 300 metres out. We drop in with Jamie Cahill. He's in the group, and now we're going to watch what happens behind Wu as we go into the group. We've got Nair, we've got Clays, we've got Chirek, we've got Skiersky, and we've seen some big pushes there. I've got a huge push from Christoph Kroll at the moment on the screen. Cunningham is pushing too, but Mundell now goes, so does Kroll. The big push is coming at the front of the group, and the group are absolutely moving. It's a massive stretch on the group further up.
And that's big push as they come in through that checkpoint. You saw Cahill drift to the back of the group. We saw a kick going. We saw 11, 12, 13 watts per kilo. And look what it's done at the front of the group. That push has brought the group behind onto Wu's wheel. Wu will take maximum points behind, though, a real fight for position.
Well, it was, and Ruben Dont won the sprint against Dan Chirek and Paul Skiersky. Now, Skiersky being really consistent here early on in the race, and he still tops the overall standings. Van Urk did not put in as much of a gain in that second checkpoint as the first, but still holding strong towards the top of that table. Harris putting in some consistent riding here to stay there too. Wu, you can now see, moved up into 4th place because he's taken those first 40 points. Interesting move from Wu, now back in the group, but he's picked up 40 points and moved himself up in the table. Smart riding.
Yeah, 9th after checkpoint 1. moves into fourth. Checkpoint 2 now gets a chance to sit in this group and think about what he does as we head towards the climb. Real interesting mix of sprints, of riders trying to stay in. You can see the damage that's been done here. This has split the group. We have got a leading group on the front. The power, the pace of that sprint coming through. Some of the riders could not match that sprint speed. The group moving to fight for points has broken the group clear. You needed to stay at the front. The group behind are now distance. You see that top right hand side of your screen. No surprises to see Lionel Verjassin in the front group here and right on the front of the pack. He can see every move that's going. He can see what you're seeing on the right hand side of your screen. That's pretty much his view if he turns his camera backwards.
Well, Verjassin needs to think now, because he finished 22nd in the first checkpoint. He finished 11th in the second checkpoint. So he's got 20 points on the table at the moment. He's going to need more of those. He's going to have to push through the next 2 checkpoints and try and pick up points. He's going to need to be instrumental in the rest of this race. Wouter Clays still in the mix here, comfortably in the group, and he's a rider who I think this type of course could suit. But look at the effort and look at the work, and we are currently right now, Clay's doing zone 2 level work. This is about recovery here. And we talked about this in the women's race. These are about 1 minute, 3 minute and 5 minute efforts. That is what is important today. Being able to recover from those efforts and go again, absolutely key.
It is. Walter Clay's taking 12th in the first checkpoint, 6th at the second checkpoint, and that means that he's been scoring points consistently all the way through, but he will need to go over the top. So a quick reminder for you. 2 checkpoints on the run into the biggest climb of the day. Checkpoint 1 in the end of the Alphacar Hills. Checkpoint 2, we've just gone through that sprint checkpoint. Checkpoint 3 is at the top of our biggest climb. And then the 4th and key checkpoint is after the little descent at the top.
Well, let's just talk about the next checkpoint coming up. It comes at 18.4 kilometres after 4.5 kilometres of climbing. Now, that climb has an average gradient of 2.8%, which you think, but it's not really that steep. But it is a multi-stepped climb. There are 6 steps on that climb along the way. And each of those individual climbing sections, some of them are seriously steep. We're talking 10, 11, 12%. But they are short and they will suit a number of riders, not just the climbing specialists.
Definitely. I got to agree with that. Great to have a little bit of a look a bit further back down through the race field. 63rd position, as we just saw for Suleiman Al-Raiki at the moment with company, and it's using that company as best you can. You can be in here. You can be battling it out. You can be seeing where you sit in terms of the rankings. Are you Al-Raiki working through here, battling against a person alongside? Are you one of our riders on the left-hand side of your screen? With Verjassin going off down the road, Wu quickly chasing, Kaminsky, Panizza, Dons, Harris, all very, very aware. You can see the moment that move was made on this run into the climb, taking this turn onto it, that the riders are very much aware. They do not want to let anything go. They know that they can't let gaps go going on to this climb. They've taken the turn. This now 13.5 kilometers into race route, and we are going upwards from here, basically all the way to the top of the climb here, the Vessel Rock climb. It's absolutely critical. 18.4 K is the top of the climb, and Verjassin again, 7.5 watts per kilo kicks, settles back down to 5. Kaminsky kicking as well. You've just seen that power fluctuating as they go over these rises and the leveling off.
And for me, this isn't about winning the climb at the moment. This is about making the group smaller. You do not want to take 38 riders, 25 riders, 20 riders to the top of the climb and then finish at the back of the pack. You want to take 12, you want to take 10, you want to take 8 to the top and actually ensure your chance of getting more points at the top of the climb.
And potentially not break this down to being a solo breakaway, given that you have got the dip after this first climb, a flat and then a rise as well. Tactics are going to be critical. At the moment, we're in with Riccardo Panizza, the Italian rider on your screens in person on the left-hand side. His avatar on the right-hand side, currently sitting inside that group. And you can see behind Panizza on the right-hand side, riders are scrambling to get onto his wheel. So whilst Panizza is looking very comfy to me, nice pedal cadence, nicely looking very smooth on that bike, he's still looking fluid. It's not all crunky. He's not pulling faces. He's not all tense in his body. He's right at the front of this group, looking good. Behind, there are riders absolutely nailing this just to get into the group. And because of his position, he's in the right place.
And we're on one of the flat transitions at the moment, and it is allowing riders to get back into the group. But we're about to go up again. The next step, not too steep, the transition quite long before we go into the main climbing section here on the Vessel Rock climb, which is the climb the riders are on at the moment, where the third checkpoint of the day is at the top. The group is getting smaller, but there are still some really class riders here. Ivo Searle, look at that. He's up and out of the saddle. He's pushing. He's in the leading group. He's doing a sterling job here. He's got Ruben Dont, John Broom, Josh Harris, Dan Turek all around him. This is a massive moment for Ivo Searle. It is absolutely brilliant. Mixing it with the elite riders on MyWhoosh and mixing it with everybody and doing a sterling job.
Absolutely brilliant. His spot and pain cave that we normally see looking a little bit more. I'm not sure whether he's just added the wheel in the background. It's literally that, but it doesn't take much when it is as plain and as clinical as that. But one of our riders who we know will expend just the right amount of energy, a regular podium rider in cycling esports. Will it be his day today to score enough points to qualify? Currently sitting in 6th, 7th wheel in this group, right places for Justin on the front there, holding position. Don and Panizza, Fell, Miller, Wu, all riding behind, and you can just see this bunch starting to mob each other, just starting to close up. They're aware that there's going to be another kick. As we take this left-hand turn, here comes the kick. We're in with Don here, so we take the left-hand turn. Ruben Don, very focused on the screen. You can see the Belgian rider here just keeping an eye. They're wearing the Belgian jersey, that light blue with the black, yellow and red bands on it. They're going to come around this turn. It starts to rise. He's got to get this right.
He's tightening up his shoes at the moment by the look of that. He's anticipating an absolute big push to the checkpoint here at the top of the climb, setting himself up, getting himself ready, utilising this small respite before they go again. They're at the 15.8 kilometre marker. The checkpoint comes at 18.4. There's still some way to go here and a lot of climbing. Dont preparing himself for what is to come.
And a big kick goes from Joe Lewis from Great Britain. Kales are right in the mix, but Vujasin quickly back on the front. You're going to hear those same names. Panizza, Vujasin, Kroll, Wu in there. Dont now. Look at the face of Dont. He is making sure he does not get distance here. Kicking out to well over 500 watts as they kicked over the top there. He's got to get in with this group. Panizza now nicely tucked in here. Christoph Kroll, another rider who I'm not supposed to be in here, but look at this. Wu.
Big push from Wu off the front of the pack. Wu is gone. He's sprinted away from the group at 11 watts per kilo. Yunfei Wu, absolutely intentional here. He wants another 40 points. He picked that 40 points up at the sprint checkpoint number 2, because he went clear of the group. He's looking to go clear of the group again. This is Wu's tactic. What can Panizza, what can Harris, Kaminsky and Vujasin do? Well, they may just leave Wu out there to expend the energy, and they save that little bit of energy for checkpoint 4, finish line checkpoint as well. There's still 80 points after this particular checkpoint. So Panizza, Dont, Turek, Harris, Kaminsky not chasing.
And as you look at the numbers that are coming out from these riders and the gaps between them, you can see that Wu is the rider with that time gap. It's only a few seconds at the moment, but we've seen just how fast he can open the gap. Just goes in to this little descent. It kicks slightly. It drops a bit more. Then we've got a big climb. And he will be wanting to make sure that he maximizes these points at the top. You never know what's going to happen afterwards. If somebody comes strong later, if you're feeling good, and clearly Yunfei Wu looking like he's on a good day today. The way that he's riding, it's the confidence to go clear here. I think that's been buoyed up by his performances over the last few months. And look at this. He's just riding just so comfortably. And behind, this group are not going to bring this back. The gap at the moment is 11 seconds between the leader and the chasing group. That is substantial. How fast has that opened?
Well, it has opened indeed, and look what's also happened. This group has got smaller and smaller as the tail has got longer and longer. So Donfu, Yasin, Kroll, Panitsa, Skierski. And what is interesting here is these riders are seriously managing their effort. They have got a mind on those further 2 opportunities to pick up points down the road, and they are modulating their effort. This group has got smaller because of the pace and because of the climb, and it may get smaller yet still, but they are not full bore like Wu. They are not time trialing to the checkpoint.
Well, that checkpoint is going to come at 18.4k at the moment. Wu is well clear at the front of the race. There is nobody in sight behind him now, so he's going to have that gap. And surely now in his mind is the fact that if he goes over the top here, he then rolls down the far side with some power on those pedals, uses this time gap. He has the chance to take the next checkpoint and maximum points there as well. These almost are 2 checkpoints in one if you get a big enough gap. At the moment, 12 seconds is the gap back. It's 11 seconds. It's hovering at the moment. The time checks are based on speed and distance covered. They're not the actual time it takes to get from one checkpoint to another. And you can see it in the distance. It was just up on the right-hand side there on that camera shot, the polka dot banner that indicates the top of this climb segment. He's got a tight right-hand turn to do, a slight left, and it will open up and he will see it. Behind him, still 12 seconds for Justin chasing.
Well, I agree with you, Matt. Wu now giving himself the opportunity not just to pick up 40 points on this checkpoint, but 40 points on the next checkpoint as well. It's only 2.9k away. So Wu putting himself into great consideration here, but this is what is happening behind him, because this is the battle for 38 points. This is the battle for second across the line. It's Jurek, Jano, Vujasin, Skierski, Kaminsky. They are all in it. So is Ruben Dont. The push is on at the front of the group, and Wu is underneath the banner. The rest of them go under as well. Skierski, I think, has come to the fore again. I think this could be the Polish rider. It is.
So Wu goes through in 1, Skierski in 2, Vujasin in 3, Jurek in 4, Kaminsky in 5, Harris in 6, Panitsa in 7, Dont in 8, Yanadate in 9th, Khan in 10th place. You can see what that's done to those overall standings. Skierski still leading. Wu has continued his ascent, moving up through from 9th to 4th to 2nd position at the moment. Dont holding top 5, so is Harris, so is Jurek there. A little bit further down, you can see Nathan Guerra, 32 points, tied on points with 2 other riders, Christoph Thiem and Khan Kayan. They are ahead of Christoph Kroll at the moment, but where you are on the road, are you in this leading group that's coming up towards Wu? That acceleration, that sprint for positions, again bringing the leading chasers onto the wheel of our race leader, Wu. This time round, though, that is not 25 riders who've made it. This is a select group of the world's best esports riders looking to qualify here in public qualifying number 1 of the UCI Cycling Esports World Championships for 2025, powered by MyWhoosh. Deep breath from Daniel Jurek. You could just see the water dropping down. He just freewheels down. It's a steep section. On some of the steeper bits, you can do that. On the more gradual sections, you've got to keep pedaling. You've got to keep position. He will not want to give away position. This, at the moment, is the leading group of riders. This is where we're going to see the riders who take maximum points at our next checkpoint. Remember, at 21.3k, next checkpoint. And at the moment, that is going to be our leaders. And at the moment, I think that's 7 riders, Summer.
Yeah, it is indeed 7 riders in the leading group. We knew it would come down, and down it has come. And 7 riders in that leading group. Skierski on the back of it. Ruben Dont 20 seconds back with Koinstonen. So it's a 20-second gap back to the next group. We've got Skierski, Koinstonen, Khan K and Stuart Miller in that group. They will also be battling it out for points. So do not think the pace will come off that group behind. But at the moment, it is 7 riders leading this. It's a steadier pace at the moment, trying to bring those heart rates down. Vujasin, Wu, Kaminsky, Harris, Jurek, Skierski and Panitsa. Those are the riders in this leading group.
So the moment just on that descent on the way down here. So just making the way down from the climb. Maximum points going to Woo there. But this is our next one now. This is a flat sprint, basically coming up in just under 500 meters time that they're coming into. And we are currently dropping in with Ked. He's in this chasing group behind. And I'm hesitant to use the word chase. I think a battling group for minor points would probably be a fairer description.
I think there's around 9 riders in that group. So realistically, with the 7 in the front, we're looking at a really great size group here. So Ken, I mean, he's got a great sprint. He really could do well. Dont's got a great sprint. Koisner's got a great sprint. I tell you something, that is the sprinters group. That's what that is. And it's going to be interesting to see. But Skierski at the moment goes 15 watts per kilo has just come out of Paul Skierski. We knew he's got power and we know he can use it, but Turek is fighting as well. Paul Skierski, I think, is going to take this. The Polish rider, this type of racing is absolutely suiting his punchy racing form. There he is. He's up and out the saddle in real life. That's the banner. He's going to take 40 points this time. Paul Skierski is dialing it today. I said earlier in the women's race, this type of racing suits a certain type of rider, and it's not the normal rider that we see week in, week out.
So a big kick there by Skierski to go in through, taking a top spot in the face. A rock sprint checkpoint. Skierski from Bujasin, from Harris, for Kaminsky, Turek, Panitsa, and Woo, who
Woo
came through in 7th place. He's gone straight over the top because guess what we're going into? We're going into a climbing section. So Woo currently in 2nd place. He is now 20 points behind Skierski. How many points are available in terms of points difference from the front to the back of the group? It's going to be very close to that because we have got what is a leading group up there. Emma quickly doing some maths, I suspect. Now we keyed that in. Oh, no, she's not. Oh, that'll teach me. So in the meantime, my brain will try and tick the maths. Basically,
there's 11 points that separate them, Matt,
11,
between 1st and 7th.
So 11 points separating 1st and 7th potentially. Multiply that by 2, that's 22. There's only 20 points between them. So it is, in theory, technically possible for the rider in 7th place in this group to take away the win. But it's not going to happen.
There's only one checkpoint.
So it's one checkpoint.
Yeah, see, in the excitement.
Oh, I know.
I know, it really is good, isn't it? But Woo only with one opportunity left to go.
It's not going to happen.
And
Can't be done.
And he's gone out to pick up the 40 points. But he wants the most points to secure a qualification place. That is the key. That is what he's going for. He may be 2nd on that overall table. And what he wants to do is cement that 2nd place. Paul Skierski pretty much cannot be touched now in terms of that overall position. One happy Polish rider. But I tell you something, he's still pushing at the front of the group behind. They're on the climb. So Woo, Skierski, Kaminsky, Vyasin, Turek, Harris are the riders here. Panitsa is there as well. And there's a gap back now, a substantial gap back of around over 30 seconds back to Group 2 on the road.
So just talking about the front of this group, Paul Skierski, at the moment, the leading rider and the leading Polish rider ahead of Mikhail Kaminsky. And Kaminsky, maybe the rider who we would expect on longer races, non-points-based races, to be the rider who's up on the top here. In terms of Polish qualification, do we know the Polish qualification set up yet? We don't. So we're still waiting to see how they're going to select their riders in Poland. We'll be just do a double check on that as we just drop a little bit further back to Takasugi. At the moment, the rider currently at 22.5 kilometers covered, still making the way over this little riser here, and got a group in front. I mean, it's a class group here. You got Downey, Bloom, Cahill, Sure, all around at the moment, and Takasugi really pushing here to make his way into that group. He's got Andrew Downey in front, who is no slouch. He's a regularly strong rider, but at the moment, Downey leading Takasugi, who's glued to his wheel. Meanwhile, back at the front of the race itself, we are at 32.4K for the finish. We are now at 23.49. So from my maths, we are now into less than the last 10K. One thing you'll soon learn if you watch all of our qualifiers. My maths is rubbish. Fortunately, I have Professor Emma Martin alongside me, truly as a professor, to keep the maths under check as well. Fortunately, as well, we have the time checks on the right-hand side of your screen. 10 seconds from Woo to that chasing group. The interesting thing to note is that it's a group of 6 riders, not 7 anymore, as Panitsa has lost contact.
Yeah.
So Woo is in number 1 spot at the moment, and he now has 5 riders chasing him. Turek, Skierski, Kaminsky, Vajasin and Harris.
Oh, Turek is desperately trying to put some hydration and fuel on board, coming up for what is, it may be a short race, but it is a hard race. It is all out from the start, and it has been indeed. Now, Wu has established a 19-second gap of the group. It's looking like he's going to, well, if he can hold it for the next 8K, he's going to pick up the 40 points at the finish line. The group behind are not so interested because, as we said earlier on, it's only a 2-point differential, first place to second place. And this group of 5 are going to be battling for second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth position. So the points differentiation is not that big. Ricardo Panizza just off the back of the group now and continuing to move towards the finish line. It's going to be interesting to see whether he can make contention with the group. Christoph Kroll and the chase group behind are 28 seconds down on Panizza.
So Panizza at the moment giving away 16 seconds to that group in front, the 30 seconds to the group behind. Does Panizza sit up? Does he wait? Does he move up the road? Does he put a lot of effort in? Almost in some ways he's in the best position. He doesn't. He
needs to stay clear.
He's got to stay clear. So a time trial effort potentially rather than putting in a big sprint effort to get on or waiting, because we've just not got enough distance left. And I think there's a danger from behind that if he gets caught, they're going to have a better kick and that could take him out of the big points reckoning. We'll have to see how that rolls. At the moment, Yunfei Wu, the runner in second place in those overall standings on your screens. He's 2 points clear of Harris. And in some ways, this is what that fight is for, because he's clear of Harris by 2 points, Turek by 4 points, Kaminsky currently he's clear of. Don is not going to trouble him. He's in the group below, as is Koinston. Panizza can move up through that group. And Vajasin, really one of the riders who's got a big point score to come here, because Vajasin is down. He can move a long way up through those standings.
Well, I'm giggling because I'm looking at the support in the Kaminsky Pain Cave, and I'm thinking it must be chilly because he's got his coat and hat on. That's because Kaminsky will need that fan on and the air conditioning and whatever he's got. It's hot racing. It's hot racing where Skierski is, the Polish compatriot of Mikhail Kaminsky as well. Skierski absolutely nailing this today.
And the two Polish riders going clear of Vajasin by 3 seconds, Harris by 9 seconds, Turek by 9 seconds. So Skierski's power and Kaminsky, they're going clear. Are we seeing Poland putting down a second and third? The teammates here putting team tactics in to try and shed Vajasin, trying to shed Harris, and it's working at the moment. Look at the distance they've opened up here. It's at 4 seconds at the moment to Vajasin, 9 to Harris, and there's no bringing them back at the moment. Can they hold this pace? So they've got to work together.
And we saw this in the semi-finals last year when we saw the Danish men's team go out hard into the first checkpoint. We saw it in the World Championships when the Team USA in stage 1 went out hard and, well, they sat back and then went out hard for the sprint. Team tactics by countries, absolutely what this is all about. And the Polish squad at the moment of Skierski and Kaminsky trying to pick up those points behind Wu. Ruben Dont working here in the group around 10th place.
Indeed, Christoph Kroll, Polish rider, in that group on the front there, trying to nail this. Don is in there. They really are looking to get riders right up to the front. This really does show you, doesn't it? You can see Don here quickly mopping off some of the sweat there as they come in through. This group are working hard. They are really nailing this in between the getting on the wheel, getting in the draft, trying to sit in that draft. There's some really interesting names in here. You've got Kane in here. We saw him come in sprinting in. He came to the fore back in 2023. Really has produced some great sprints. But you were saying actually only last Sunday that he's become a much more all-round rider. And in some ways, that's going to benefit him on this points race.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because for the likes of the USA, the National Federation has 20 riders in their quota, 10 men and 10 women. Turkey, very, very different. The opportunity to qualify through the public open qualifiers is the only opportunity.
So if you don't make it through the qualifiers, the public qualifiers, you aren't going to be in if you're a Turkish
For
rider.
some nations.
And that is all based the UCI governing body, which is the governing body for all of cycle sport, overseeing all those cycling disciplines, setting out the allocation and the quotas. There's some great press out there about the allocations and why they are where they are. If you're interested to geek out over all of those details, you can always get in touch with @biking_Emma on Instagram, because Emma has spent a lot of time reading them word for word, whether it's the Belgian squad of Walter Clays or it is the squad of the duo here on the road. Kaminsky at the moment with Skierski, but look at this big push here as they come in through 28.4k here. And at the moment, look at the time gap. It's only 5 seconds back to Wu.
And this is the push. This is the push to catch up with Yunfei Wu. This isn't just a battle for second and third with the two Polish riders working together. This is a let's work together, close down Wu, and then let's go over the top and take those points. Question is, Kaminsky, Skierski, Wu, who's going to go over the line first? This is winding up to be a cracking race.
And as they come onto the wheel, what they do now is going to be critical. You can see them burying themselves to get onto the wheel, but will they just go straight over the top? Who's got any energy left here between Kaminsky and Skierski? Will they just take it in turns to work over Wu? They're going to have superiority in numbers, but as they make their way into the finish at 32.4k, we have got some little rises coming up, which will suit Wu. We've got the descent, which will suit teamwork. All three leaders together. Wu from China, Skierski and Kaminsky from Poland. Your leading three riders, a 13-second gap back to Harris, Vjasin, and Turek. So three chasing riders, chasing the riders in front. However, Panizza now nearly 1 minute down.
Well, and I'm loving the fact Kaminsky's on the back of the group. He's in the draft. He's taking the recovery. Hand signals in the studio with the support team as well. And Skierski and Wu in front. Kaminsky needs to sit on. He needs to sit on. If he's aiming to win this, he'll sit on and then he'll utilise the draft and he'll come through and go at 29.5 kilometres. It's the 32.4 kilometre marker. That is the checkpoint they are looking at. Mikhail Kaminsky currently lying in 5th with 114 points.
And that is who they're working for. If I was the Polish team, I would now be saying, Skierski's in. He's got this now. He's got the win. Skierski, you have to work now for Kaminsky. Let's get Kaminsky to take the most points he can, to go over the top of Harris, to go over the top of Church, to really get yourself up into the top spots here, to push the rest of the riders down, because that will get him right up into position. Kaminsky, 114 points. If you take Skierski out, if Skierski sits up, I mean, he literally could hand a whole load of points as long as he comes in ahead of Don Koiston and Panizza van Erck, etc., and ahead of Harris and as Turek as well.
Yeah, so just saw him back with Turek, and you can actually take a look here. This group behind is, well, it is 3, isn't it? Because Panizza's been off the back and is off the back. He's 47 seconds back in 7th, but he's still staying well clear of that group behind that's got Kroll and Dont in it. Turek, Vjasin and Harris, these 3 riders are together. We're in with Dan Turek at the moment. You can see him on the screen. He's the rider pushing on here. They're going into the 3 small rollers, which are the lead to the finish here. They're at the 30.3 kilometre marker. They've got 2.1k to go, while the group ahead of them, they are on the climb already. So we've got the group on the left, who are the leaders in this competition, the group on the right, who are the chasers in this competition. They're all coming into these climbs. All 2 groups are in now. This is the run for the finish line.
So at the moment on the left-hand side, leader on the road is Wu, the white jersey, the black hair there. Once it identifies him, behind him you can see Skierski and Kaminsky coming. Kaminsky, the rider with the white and the red band down his centre. He's the rider who goes over the top with the white on the right-hand side of your screen at the moment. That was Skierski, just comes in and through over into the front of the race. So Wu with the white top, black hair, the white jersey, the white cap there. That is Skierski, and with the red shorts, the Polish champs jersey there. That is Kaminsky. They are your top 3 riders there. The avatars that are on your screen at the moment, they are currently at what is 31.3k. This race finishes at 32.4.
Well, with just over 1,000 metres to go, the three leaders, Wu, Kaminsky and Skierski. Skierski is one happy rider. I'll tell you that. One happy rider makes a great racer, and that is absolutely true. Now, Wu and Kaminsky. Skierski, well, the question is it Skierski's job to win the race, or is it Skierski's job for Kaminsky to win the race? Because the Polish team have worked together. The duo have worked to get back to Wu. They're now sat on his wheel. They are watching and waiting.
So they now need to unlock the puzzle. What they need to do is find the key that will open this up for Kaminsky to take the win, Skierski to come ahead of Wu, maximise the points there for Kaminsky and minimise the points for all the riders that are behind. You can see Skierski at the moment just hovering between zone 1 and zone 2, the lower level effort for him, getting that recovery in. Now he gets out of the saddle here. He's going to put the push on, but look at this. Kaminsky is behind. Kaminsky surely is going to come over the top here. The riders kick on through, but look at this. Skierski went there at 16 watts per kilo. Kaminsky and Wu do not have an answer. I'll tell you something, Skierski has shown he is number one here today. He absolutely nailed it. He hasn't panicked when Wu has gone. He goes underneath the UCI banner, arms aloft. What a ride. Maximum points there. Kaminsky's going to take second place there. So he takes 38 points. He comes in ahead of Wu. Behind, Harris is starting to open up on Vujasin. Harris in the Australian jersey goes underneath the banner. Then it's Vujasin that you see on your screen. Fifth place here for Vujasin. Great ride by him. He's ahead of Daniel Churek. Churek rolls the legs round as he comes underneath the banner. They're your top six so far. And a gap back to Ricardo Panizza, who's making his way around those turns.
Well, that was hard, punchy racing, and a number of our riders still out on the course at the moment as we witness Ricardo Panizza come around the corner here. He's going to come around this left-hand bend and see the finish line. It's going to be one happy man to see the finish line today, as I bet all of our riders are, because this has been brutal. Behind Panizza, Ruben Dont looks as though he's gone clear of Zach Nair and Stuart Miller. Whether he can hold that, that's the question, but Dont is indeed clear. He too is coming around that final corner, but Kroll and Miller are behind with Zach Nair. It's a small group, but he's established a good-sized gap of around 7 seconds. So Ruben Dont pushing on hard and coming clear for 8th place today over the line. He'll pick up 26 points from that effort, and that will indeed be added to his previous total to give the overall. Zach Nair pushing on here against Khan Ken. Zach Nair comes across the line. Khan Ken wins the rest of the sprint from Stuart Miller and Bert Ken. Two Turkish riders coming through right at the top here. Great racing to see.
So Skierski taking the win, a punch in the air there from Ken as they come in. You can see at the moment the rest of the riders who will score points on this checkpoint coming in and through to score their final points here today. We're in with Daniel Mundell going in and through. And in fact, we now have 20 riders coming in over the line with Ivo Shure scoring 2 points. The last point scoring rider to make his way in and through the line. Your riders further back, well, Bloom and Takasugi, they're not going to score any points on this final run to the line here as Downey goes through. Davis is behind and so is Mason Rocker. But the top 20 riders in and through the checkpoints here. And that really does show you just how fast that racing is. Just outside the points there, Bloom goes through. So overall, this is what it means at the end of qualifier number 1. These are the riders who've scored the points as follows. Paul Skierski taking top spot, 192 points. He goes through ahead of Yunfei Wu, 168 points in second, really close to Harris in third, 164. Churek in fourth, 158. And Kaminsky in fifth, 152 points. Those are 5 riders clear from the riders behind. Good to see a real mix of nations there. And on this screen alone, we have got the Netherlands, we've got France, we've got Ireland, America. We've got the Finnish rider in there. We've got the Polish rider, and of course the 2 riders from Turkey, both Khan and Berk Kane.
And as we saw in the women's race, these results are indeed live, and more riders coming over the line who may have scored big points early on and will jump into this leaderboard.
And that's particularly true of the riders in 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th place. Mundell, Cahill, Takasugi and Fell, because those first 2 checkpoints before the big climb. Anybody who scored big points there may well jump in over the top of PFL as they're coming through. All the results at the moment are live on the MyWhoosh.com website. Go to MyWhoosh.com/results. Make sure you go to the correct public qualifier on there, because all of the results of public qualifier number 1 at the moment are provisional. They will be verified along with all the rest of the verification process. And when that's done, you will see that they get the official stamp of approval, and that's when they are final. We will be back with qualifier race number 2 this week. It's going to be on Friday. Make sure you join us for that. Qualifier number 2 on Friday in UTC time, and that is the United Time Zone, so basically unified time zone. That is going to be at 1700 for the women and 1900 for the men. In GST or Gulf Standard Time, that's 2100 or 2300 hours. Make sure that you download the app on iOS, on Android, or on Windows. We can't wait to see you riding. There is a chance to jump on board. Remember, 4 public qualifiers.
I'll tell you something, this public qualifier course is superb, and it really is highlighting the skills, techniques, tactics, and strength of our riders.
2 very different races initially, but 2 very worthy winners who showed just what skills it's going to take to win this. Will the rest of our qualifiers follow that same model? Will we see somebody maybe going for a lone breakaway to clean up absolutely everything? You'll have to tune in to find out. Make sure you subscribe by hitting the button on YouTube. Make sure you get notified when we go live on MyWhoosh. An absolute pleasure having you along for the ride today. A fantastic race. Thank you to our competitors for making it so exciting, and all the team behind the scenes for making it happen. But from myself, Matt Payne, and from Emma Martin, we'll see you for the next qualifier on Friday. Goodbye.